Hi, this is Rob. Welcome to Math Antics. In this lesson, we're going to learn some really important things about a whole branch of math called algebra. The first thing you need to know is that algebra is a lot like arithmetic. It follows all the rules of arithmetic, and it uses the same four main operations that arithmetic is built on: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But algebra introduces a new element, the element of the unknown. When you were learning arithmetic, the only thing that was ever unknown was the answer to the problem. For example, you might have the problem 1 plus 2 equals what? The answer isn't known until you go ahead and do the arithmetic. Now, the important thing about algebra is that when we don't know what a number is yet, we use a symbol in its place. That symbol is usually just any letter of the alphabet. A really popular letter to choose is the letter X. So in arithmetic, we would just leave the problem like this: 1 plus 2 equals blank. And we would write in the answer when we did the addition. But in algebra, we'd write it like this: 1 plus 2 equals x. The x is a placeholder that stands for the number that we don't know yet. What we have here is a very basic algebraic equation. An equation is just a mathematical statement that two things are equal. An equation says the things on this side of the equal sign have the same value as the things on the other side of the equal sign. In this case, our equation's telling us that the known values on this side, 1 plus 2, are equal to what's on the other side, which happens to be the unknown value that we're calling x. One of the main goals in algebra is to figure out what the unknown values in equations are. And when you do that, it's called solving the equations. In this equation, it's pretty easy to see that the unknown value is just 3. All you have to do is actually add the 1 and 2 together on this side of the equation, and it turns into 3 equals x, which is the same as x equals 3. So now we know what x is. It's just 3. That almost seems too easy, doesn't it? And that's why in algebra, you're usually given an equation in a more complicated form, like this: x minus 2 equals 1. This is exactly the same equation as 1 plus 2 equals x, but it's been rearranged so that it's not quite as easy to tell what x is. So in algebra, solving equations is a lot like a game where you're given mixed up, complicated equations, and it's your job to simplify them and rearrange them until they're nice simple equations, like x equals 3, where it's easy to tell what the unknown values are.
Well, let's look at an example now that you're starting to get algebra, and it's pretty cool after all. Here's a simple word problem for you to solve. Mr. Nutty has 26 apples. Pete the prairie dog has 31 apples. How many do they have together? Now, traditionally, how we probably would have written this is something like this: 26 apples plus 31 apples is equal to, we don't know, question mark, okay? But in algebra, we are going to get rid of that question mark and put a letter for what we don't know. So when we do word problems in algebra, the first thing we have to do is think of our flow map. The first thing we do is stop and think. We're going to go slow. So read the first sentence. Mr. Nutty has 26 apples. Stop. Think about it. Do the second one. Pete the prairie dog has 31 apples. Stop. Think about it. Then you read the question, or more sentences if there's more. How many do they have together? What are you trying to find here? How many do they have? Oops. So we are trying to find how many apples they have together. That means adding. All right, so we're going to write down what we know. We know that Pete, or Mr. Nutty, has 26 apples. And we know that Pete has 31. And we know that we have to add them together to find how much they have. Okay? Let's decide on a letter for what we don't know. So instead of the question mark, we need to have a letter there. I like to use a letter that kind of relates to my problem. In this case, I'm talking about apples, and apples start with A. So I'm going to write the letter A. It can be any letter. Finally, let's solve our equation. 26 plus 31 gives us 57. So we know that 57 is our known, and it's going to equal A, our unknown. So therefore, 57 is the total, or 26 plus 31 is equal to 57.